Hey guys, this is Cam315 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back at it with another My Hero Academia manga chapter review for you guys. And we are here getting the aftermath of Toga's confession. Now, I didn't get what I thought I would get, which is my Ochako confession, but it's okay. I will continue to wait for that to happen, and hopefully it does happen. I need Horikoshi to finally have Ochako confess. After seeing this chapter, and it's like Ochako didn't even confess to Deku in this chapter, I'm like, oh yeah. When everything's said and done and we get the epilogue to the story, I can definitely see where we get a time where Ochako and Deku spend some time alone. She confesses her feelings to him. So this was probably the only last chapter where they could have set up a whole romance confession angle. Now, some people may say, honestly, I kind of like the fact that they didn't do the typical trope where Ochako says, Deku, I love you, or something like that. I will say, hey, it's something different from the mold. I personally want to see because I'm a big Ochako / Deku shipper, but I can wait. If we get an epilogue chapter where we see the aftermath of this and we get that moment, I'll take it. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get to the main current chapter. Anyways, this chapter is My Hero Academia manga chapter 348 titled Unrequited. Now Deku is obviously shocked because he's like, there's a monologue. The narrator is like, Deku is very shocked because he always saw himself as a nerd and a nobody, so he never would expect a girl, to love him. And I'm like, yeah, that's really nice because Ochako loves you too. Anyways, so yeah. Now Deku is obviously shocked. He's like, you said boyfriend, right? And obviously Toga's like, yes. And well, before Toga said that, he's like, what the hell are you talking about? And Toga's like, well, I've always loved you since I first met Izuku. And it's like, oh God, what the hell? And I was reading this chapter. Hell, I read the early release chapter of this, the unofficial translations, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, is she actually being kinky with her shit right now? And she goes in the mention, she's like, when I saw you covered in blood, it reminded me of that time where I had my first crush, and he just looks so cute. Well, she says cool in this chapter because she's like, you're so cool, Izuku. Again, the whole flashback of Toga's backstory, the one kid that got into a fight that looked damn near identical, like he could have been Deku's like fucking brother or some shit. That's kind of what happened. And then you get this insane, scary ass panel of Toga saying, I want to be you, let me suck your blood. I saw this panel. I'm like, yeah, no. I would be running for my life if I saw that. This just giving off that face, man. I'm like, bruh. You saw the horrific face in season 5 of the anime. I cannot envision seeing more horrific faces made by Toga in the anime. I can't. These are horrifying shots, man. Toga is legit scary. But anyways, Deku rebubbles her whole statement of saying, like, you want a boyfriend? But boyfriend and girlfriends are supposed to be the ones holding hands, going to the amusement park on dates and everything. Eating each other's foods or sharing ice cream and stuff like that. That's what a relationship's supposed to be. That's what you're supposed to be when you're dating and everything. And Deku goes and make the mention. She's like, for me, turning into someone else is about what is it? Toga goes on to say, well, for me, turning into someone else is all about love. It's the only way I can feel satisfied. And essentially, that's when Toga gets his kink where she's like, tell me, Hero, what do you want to do to me? And I'm like, some of the fan base would do probably something to you that I'm not going to repeat on national airways because for some reason they are in love with crazy chicks. No idea. So yeah. And obviously Deku rebubbles her answer and she's like, I don't know. I always wanted to be strong like All Might, so I get how you feel, Toga. Like how trying to be someone else can be so fulfilling. But I can't imagine wanting to share the same heart and mind as him, and I would never want to hurt someone I love. Essentially, this is Deku's essentially way of telling Toga, listen, I can understand how, you feel. You want to be like somebody. You have, you look up, you have respect and admiration for somebody. But the only difference between you and me is this. I won't hurt that person. I won't hurt said people to become somebody I look up to. I won't do that. And stuff like that. Also, too, Deku makes the mention of the fact that because his danger sense isn't activating, this potentially makes it the worst possible outcome in terms of the fight that he's going up against and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyways, Toga gives this face that honestly is pretty kind of sad, and she's just like, okay. And that's when she recalls all the things and stuff like that people said, like her parents saying, why can't you just be normal? Remember, it's the thing about Ochako saying, if you're going to live as you please, you have to live with the consequences from their fight back. In there. Remembers the My Villain Academia arc when the one lady was like, why don't you just act like a normal girl and stuff like that? How pitiful and how sad. And, that's when she says, Izuku, you're just like Ochako. You're just like my mom and my dad. And that's essentially when she puts the mask on, and people who had an idea of thinking, oh, you can save Toga and redeem her. Well, no, you can't and you won't, because you're not getting that. You're not getting that. She puts her mask on. As these booster things from behind her, from like just the different like type of strings she has around her, and she's on a charge, and she goes and say, you think that heroes and those they protect are the only ones who count as real people, so people like you and I are destined to remain apart. And just from Izuku rejecting her, well, this kind of just took her off the deep end. And that's kind of what this whole thing was. It just to show you that, Toga is a lost cause. There's no returning. There's no redemption for her. Her eyes of love is sucking somebody's blood, becoming somebody and just killing them. That's her version of love. And she's just too mentally warped and everything. So she's trying to get behind Deku to try to impale him and stab him to get his blood. And Ochako comes in and she's like, you're not happening. You're not cutting my man and everything. And Toga goes on to say, ever since we met that day, I've been thinking hard about you. Oh, or Ochako says that. But then Toga replies by saying, oh, you haven't been on my mind since we last fought. I don't give a shit about you anymore, Ochako. And she goes on to say, I thought maybe I had a shot with Izuku, but nope. It's all over now, and now I can freely do whatever I want. She goes on to say the world rejected me, so I rejected the world. Confirmation that Toga is essentially far gone, so you can't save her. She's essentially in this realm of, well, like, since the world fucked me over and they said flip me off, well then screw the world. So she's essentially berserk now, and there's no way bringing her back. She needs to be detained or worse, killed. So she gets behind Ochako, and Toga saying, it's sad, really. I was sure you'd understand me. After all, you and I both felt for the same, or she goes on to say, after all, you and I both fell for the same game, which she's referencing, you and I both fell for the same guy in Deku. But what happens is, Ochako takes a knife to the back. She ends up getting impaled by the knife. It isn't that bad of a wound. Ochako says that she's like, it's only a skin cut. But we see how Sue Froppy comes on in, kicks Toga away. Deku uses Black Whip to pull her away as well. And Sue comes in, and essentially Sue says she's the least predictable of our opponents. So we warped here to an isolated island, and that plan backfired. Toga's like, Sue, And that's when Sue's telling Deku, listen, you don't have time to talk lovey-dovey romance stuff here. You need to go stop Shigaraki now. You have to go. And stuff like that. She's going to say, me and Ochako will deal with Toga here. You know, we've got him, you know, Ochako's gonna, you know, up against her various times. We can handle this and everything. Deku's obviously concerned about his friends, and especially about Ochako. And she's like, Deku, you don't have to worry about me. Go stop Shigaraki. Good luck. You know, and Deku, obviously, you know, through this, he's remembering the talk that they had a few chapters ago. You know, she's remembering, he's like, well, you know, I guess both of us are kind of weird like that and stuff like that. So the chapter ends with Toga getting back up saying, it's so hard to live being me, even though I'm full of all this love, even though it's a warped vision of love. And Ochako yells out to Deku, get out of here, go now, and leave. And the chapter ends, excuse me, with Deku zooming off to go meet up and try to stop Shigaraki. So yeah, that's where the chapter ends. I thought this chapter was really damn good. Just getting the aspect that Toga now is a lost cause, and you know, she's just going over the edge now because she got dumped. So yeah, and like I said, you know, she sees herself, you know, essentially being, she sees herself being dumped as a way of like, they're rejecting me, everybody's rejected me and stuff like that. They don't understand what I go through. And you know, it's really just a sad story because the urge for drinking blood really never, you know, stopped, and because of it, she ended up becoming a crazy psychopath. Now the fact that now she has no more, you know, things potentially stopping her in the form of Ochako and especially Deku, where she could be like, I want to ask Deku this question. Now she's gone off the deep end, and now she's crazy, and she's too far gone, and you can't save her. So My Hero Academia fans thinking that there's a way we can redeem Toga, that's not happening. She's already too far gone. We already know this is the state where Dobby's already in. And I feel like this is going to be the state when, you know, it's going to happen to Shigaraki. Deku's going to try the best to try to speak some sense in him and try to make him, you know, understand what he's doing is wrong and says, listen, I can help you. But like I said, I feel like Shigaraki will reject it and be like, please, I'm too far gone, kid. You know, you think you can, I want to destroy everything. So, gonna be very interesting. So, we get the setup climax fight between Ochako, Sue, and Toga. So that's set up. Deku's on his way there. I wonder if we're gonna actually, we're probably gonna cut over to what's gonna go on with the Dobby situation. Definitely gonna be interesting to see where that's gonna go. So yeah. But yeah, very interesting. Next manga chapter for My Hero Academia won't release in 9 days. So which is, I believe, next Sunday. So hey, look forward to that. But other than that, guys, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's manga chapter for My Hero Academia, as well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more My Hero Academia content. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or night watching this video. Until then, guys, see you guys later. Peace.